When you come forward, the screen up here will start counting for you, and you can tell about the time that your 5 minutes is up. So, Phil, do you want to give me that sheet? Is everybody got signed in that wants to speak?
Let them have a chance to sign.
There's no announcement yet, so why don't you announce that you need to sign in?
Okay, if you are wanting to come forth tonight and speak, if you don't mind, come up here and sign the sheet so that we can take you in order.
Madam Chairman, I have a question.
Okay.
Maybe I'm misinformed, but I thought part of the public hearing was to provide information for the public as to what this is about and what's involved, so that they'll be informed before we go to the regular commission meeting.
It is, it will, and I think when the questions start and we give, whoever gives the answers, that's some of the information, but there will be a lot of information put out there
Thank you.
also.
Anybody else will sign up?
Keith Arnold, do you want your name on here? I saw you raising your hand. I didn't know for sure what that meant.
My request, if somebody comes in a few minutes late, to give them the opportunity to like to speak.
Mr. Peach, do you mean if somebody comes in late?
Yeah, if they come in a little bit later.
Oh, that's for sure. Yeah, we will. We'll allow anybody to speak. Okay, the first one that's on our list for tonight is Kim Summers.
Good afternoon. My name is Kim Summers. I am a lawyer, administrative law judge, and resident of South Benton County in District 1. And I do appreciate the opportunity to be here. I was hoping to have some information before providing any comments, because I feel like I'm just hitting a moving target now, since the only information that we've been provided is in the newspaper. But I'll go forward based upon that information, since there isn't anything else. I have some real concerns about, so I'm sure many people in the county do, about the cost of this project. I mean, all we know about is the $1.7 million. There's been no discussion whatsoever about how much it's going to cost to rehab the building to make it usable, since it's been sitting there vacant for 20 years. I don't think that there's been any real disclosure about the intended purposes for this building and why it actually is going to be a benefit to the county. I did see in the newspaper article that the county intended to use the American Rescue Plan grant to pay for the building. Well, I looked at that, and it doesn't appear to me that purchasing the building with those funds would be appropriate based upon the permitted uses of those funds. But be that as it may, whether we use taxpayer money or this grant money, do we not have anything? Do we not have any other problems? Do we have so much money and so few problems that this is what we're going to use our limited county resources to purchase? I mean, can we not think of something else to do, some other benefit to our county from probably the millions of dollars that we're going to be spending on this project? I, for one, being a resident of this county, know that the funds are limited, and we do have a lot of other things that we could do with this money. And so what happens when we buy the building and we don't have the money to rehab it, and it sits vacant, not on on the dime of a private owner that is paying taxpayer money back to the county, but on the dime of the county. So we buy a building, we can't afford to rehab it, or we do rehab it, and whatever use we intended for this building never actually is materializes. And then how much is that going to cost? I really hope that the county has thought about all of these questions and they've not just disclosed it to us. But if not, I think it's time to think about it before we actually start or decide to purchase this building. And I do, this is taxpayer money. And actually, whether it's the grant or out and out county money, it is all taxpayer money. And all of y'all are accountable to us on how it gets spent. And I do feel like having this meeting today and then immediately voting is really not honoring your commitment to the citizens to keep us informed. I mean, this project has been in the works for at least the amount of time of that agreement that you all had, and this is the first time that this issue has been, we've had a forum for the citizens of the county to talk about it, and I think it should have been done months ago, long before you all decided to take a vote on it, because you're giving us an opportunity to talk about it and then you're going to vote. It doesn't really look like you care what we think, because how much time do you have to consider and ponder our concerns if immediately after we share them you're voting? I really do hope that this isn't something that we're rushing forward into and we're driving our county budget over a cliff, because we don't have a lot of excess funds to throw away, and I do want to make sure that we're spending them appropriately. Thank you so much.
Would any commissioner want to make any response to that?
I think I would.
Okay.
Hi, Hill 5th District. There have been meetings, and all of the meetings that the county has had are open to the public. The Oversight Committee, which has been spearheading this, have been meeting for how many months?
Since May.
Since May, and those meetings have been advertised. I mean, I
All of them
wish,
are advertised properly.
well, if they weren't, that's not to my knowledge, sir. But my understanding is they've been at the same day every month, and the public has always been welcome.
I would like to say that there are copies of those meetings available in the county mayor's office. If anybody had wanted to see what the Oversight Committee was meeting about, then you could ask for a copy of the minutes from probably any of the Oversight Committee members or from the county mayor's office. Okay. Mr. Woodard, we'll get to you just a minute. I'm going by this list right now, okay? I'll put your name on here, though. Mr. Peach?
I have some questions that I'd like to have answers. Is that possible? Okay, who's the elected mayor of Benton County? Anyone know?
As of right now,
No,
Shannon-
he's not elected anything. Who's the elected
appointed.
mayor of Benton County? His name is Lashley, isn't it?
Well, if you want me to answer, you can wait for me to answer.
Okay, well, I gave you time.
The elected mayor was
Okay.
Mayor Brett Lashley.
What has the interim mayor been elected to by the people?
He was elected to take over the seat of the mayor. He was nominated to take over the seat of the mayor.
He has
while
not
he
been
is
elected
in tour.
to any,
I said he was nominated, sir.
nominated is different. We want to hear from the elected mayor of Benton County, not an interim mayor that's pushing this through, and I don't know why.
Well, you can't, sir, because he's on tour in Africa.
Excuse me?
He's on tour in Africa. He's not here tonight, so you can't.
Yeah, well, he's going to be here in a couple of months. Why is there so much aggression in trying to push this on the people, and the people don't want it? I want to know. Give me some straight answers. This is the guy who ought to be over here, not you. Why don't you sit here? You don't want to take the heat?
Mr. Peach, I'm the chairman.
Okay, but why are you the chairman now? Why is he not sitting there? He's the one pushing this project.
He's sitting in the same seat that Mayor Lashley sits in at every meeting, so that's the seat he's supposed to sit in. I'm sorry.
This special meeting, who's supposed to be the chairman of this public hearing? Should be the interim mayor. I don't like what's going on. A lot of people don't like what's going on. Here's a guy, he hadn't been elected to be a dog catcher, and he's trying to push through a multi-million-dollar deal on the people of this county. That's not right.
Mr. Peach, we're going to have a meeting here that is very respectful to everybody, and we're not going to call anybody names.
I'm not calling anybody names.
So if you will please quit disrespecting people, okay?
Who did I call
If you
somebody
want to
bad
talk
name?
to about the project that you are here to talk to about tonight, but there's
Okay,
no
I'll
reason for
try
you
to
to
be more
come here
calm.
to disrespect someone, okay?
Okay, let me ask you a question. Mr. Interim Mayor, how much taxes you pay in Benton County?
That's none of your business. That's a
No,
personal
it's public
question.
information.
It's public. If he
Madam
wants to
Chairwoman.
answer, he can.
Mr. Peach, you're certainly welcome to go to the trustee's office and look it up.
You know how much it is. Why don't you disclose it? You want to spend millions of county's taxpayers in this county's money, yet you
I
don't want to
haven't
say how
added
much
up.
taxes
I
you're
don't-
paying.
I don't keep up with it until I'm ready to pay them.
Well, I pay more than 30,000.
Well,
I don't know if you-
I could not be happier for you, sir.
Madam Chairman, how much taxes you pay in this county?
If you want to see, go to the trustee's office, but I pay my share
I
of
know
taxes.
you know. Women know everything about money. My wife knows everything about
I'm
money.
sorry that I don't pay $30,000, though. I'm sorry that I'm not as wealthy as you are.
I'll tell you what, I've worked hard. I've supported this county. I'm happy to pay taxes to help this county, but I'm totally against wasteful spending by decisions making by people that participate very little in paying the bills of this county. This needs to be taken off to tell how much more time I have. Minute and 32 seconds. I would encourage any county commissioners here tonight to vote against this unless you want to pay for it yourself. We're talking about a multi-million-dollar project that we don't need. They're going to move offices out of downtown and gut the downtown. How much you going to spend on the mayor's office out there, Interim Mayor? Is it going to be plush?
Not one dime.
Oh. How many businesses we lost with this pandemic?
I do not know, sir.
Well, that's something you ought to know. It's been a lot. A lot of places have closed.
I assume you know because you've asked the question.
A lot. I don't know the exact number.
Neither do I, sir.
But I would encourage you, an unelected official, to stop pushing $1 million deal down the throats of the taxpayers. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I can't pronounce this lady's last name. Her first name is Delilah. Will you pronounce your full name, please?
Thank you, Lady Chairperson. It's Delia Thibodeau.
Okay.
Delia Thibodeau. And in a more civilized and respectful tone, I would like to voice my strong disapproval of this project. But before I do, I'd like to introduce myself. My husband and I own what was the old Methodist church in Big Sandy. He is the pastor there. We purchased it about 2 years ago, and we were given at that time a quote of about $750,000 to renovate that building. I went online just before coming to this meeting on Facebook, and although I often do not believe much that is on Facebook, there were several items of interest, including the fact that the necessary repairs will probably amount in the $2 million range. Apparently, from what was on Facebook, nothing was compliant to code. It needs a new roof. There is extensive mold damage. The fire suppression system needs to be replaced. And there is, in addition, extensive damage throughout the building. In addition to all these necessary repairs, would not this area lose the tax benefits? So that's an additional cost or deficit on top of the purchase price and all the necessary repairs. I think this is a bad choice for Benton County. Surely there must be a more suitable site for the necessary needs, and I would agree with Mr. Peach, a better use of taxpayer funds. I was hoping to obtain more detailed information regarding this project this evening, so that we could all make a more intelligent assessment. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Tommy Woodard?
Yes, I'm Tommy Woodard, a resident of Benton County. I had a few questions concerning the building, of the cost of renovation and a loss of tax money to the county and to the city. Should you purchase that building? I don't know what the overall cost of the building will be, and that's what I came up here to try to find out. Has there been any figures put to this that the public can?
When everybody's through with their comments, I'll go over some numbers for everybody.
Appreciate
and,
it.
That might be helpful.
That was my destination. Thank you.
Keith Arnold?
I'm Keith Arnold. As most of you know, I'm the broker that brokered the sale of this building. You know, there's a lot of information and stuff that people's throwed out there about this sale of this property. And I don't think that it matters whether you pay $30,000 in property taxes or you pay $5,000 or $500 or $150. I think the citizens of the county, you know, has a vote regardless of what the amount of taxes they paid. Now, what people don't understand is I've been selling real estate in Benton County for 36 years. And in order to sell an area, you know, you've got to talk about what your county has for you, what your county has to offer. We got people moving this county from all over the country. And when they asked, you know, what kind of activities you have for your senior citizens, what do you have for your kids? You know, what kind of events can you have? We have to turn around and rely on churches, banks, schools to even have a place to even have an event. We have no Civic Center. Decatur County, Carroll County, Henry County, Humphreys County, everybody else has these things that our county don't have. Now, I think what a lot of people don't understand is the purchase price of this building. This building is taxed by an assessed value by the Benton County tax assessor of $1,792,400. The property was listed in my company for $1.8 million. We reduced the price. I talked to Mayor Lashley about it back when he was elected, and he informed me that it was not in his vision. His vision was to have industrial development out there. Folks, it's not zoned for industrial development. It's a B business district. You don't want to drive into Camden to your best streets, you know, where all your restaurants, your hotels, your banks, your churches are, and they turn around and somebody's got a industrial development there. if it was zoned for it with a bunch of old junk cars and stuff piled up on each side of the 641 right there. You know, this is a place to be proud of and to bring people and tell them what we have. The deal was we wrote a contract for $1.7 million. What you don't understand is, of course, the county was only going to pay $1 million of money for the building. The balance was going to be credited to the seller as a federal tax credit. Just like if you go get a solar panels put on your house, the government will give you a tax credit for certain, things that you do. So being it was donated to a county, he would receive a tax credit. It would be based on the appraised value of the difference between the price. When the building was inspected, Mayor Lashley, of course, Mayor Shannon is here, went out there and looked at the building, and he had it inspected, and the roof had some issues. Had an estimate, done his due diligence. He's done a great job doing his due diligence. I think that's one thing we don't do sometimes. We jump to conclusions. But he's done his due diligence, and it was $250,000 the estimate, from Dort's Roofing. I went back to the seller and talked to him about either repairing the roof or turning around and making a monetary adjustment of the amount of money that he would be paying. So he agreed to make a monetary adjustment, so he was going to be only receiving $750,000 of cash, and the balance would be in the form of a tax credit. Folks, it don't matter if it was $20 million. It's not costing Benton County one penny. It's just on paper. It's a tax credit between him and his accountant and the IRS. The property, people's got to understand, the money that the county has already borrowed money for projects. And I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that the money's already been borrowed by this county to build certain projects because they bought land down here in the flood zone. Is it in a flood zone? Most definitely it's in a flood zone. I got a copy of the map right here. That property was rushed to buy after talking to them and telling them that property had been for sale most of my 36 years in the real estate business. That it had been for sale, but for some reason, Mayor Lashley and them thought they had to buy it right then. Now, it's who the mayor is in Benton County. The mayor of Benton County today is Randy Shannon. Just like if the President of the United States was not able to perform his duties, then there would be somebody stepped in his seat and he was able to be the president. Randy Shannon is our mayor. Mr. Peach does pay a lot of taxes. And I'm friends with Mr. Peach. I pay a lot of taxes also. I'm right in there with you, Mr. Peach. But Mr. Peach's tax bill is going to go down. He sold a nice big piece of property and hopefully that somebody will develop it and do something in our county. But folks, Stevie wouldn't even wonder why this is such a good deal. $12 a square foot, and that's a 60,000 square foot building on that property. Okay? And I've got 5 seconds, and I'm going to call it quits. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Keith. Christy Baldwin.
Thank you, guys. My name is Christy Baldwin. I'm a resident of Benton County. I've lived here since the day I was born over here at Camden General Hospital. The one thing that concerns me with all this is there was over 2,000 signatures drawn up back before Mayor Lashley started buying flood zone property down here of people that asked for it to be put on the ballot. This has never been put on the ballot. Back whenever Brett Lashley was trying to do this the first time, now even with this, my thing is maybe this is a good deal, but why not put it on the ballot and let the citizens of Benton County decide instead of it going to a mayor that is not in the country for his choice or a mayor that's been put in for a few months for his choice. Like, let's let the people decide. Like I said, there was a 2,000 people petition that was raised and was just ignored by one that was here earlier. So anyway, mine's short and sweet, under a minute, but that's what I would like to see happen.
Christy, I would like to ask you, you're talking about the petition. Was that not for the $6 million bond issue?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It went all the way back. We have had this issue where we basically have let people know, hey, we want to be included, put it on the ballot. And it's never made it to the ballot. All right, thank you, guys.
That's all the names I have on the list, but is there anyone else that wants to come forward, please?
Y'all.
Hi, Bobby.
I'm just here, I live in the first district up there at Holiday. I'm not for buying this place, because I understand no more what I know about it. They took chopping axes up there on them air conditioners. And you talking about a lot of money there, getting all them air conditioners. Am I right, Mr. Shannon, or they?
I've never seen any chopping axe damage, but I do know that the air conditioners on the top of the building probably are not functional.
Lord, that's gonna cost a world of money. I mean,
Well, when everybody's finished and I go over this, I'll give you some numbers and tell you
Yeah.
about the cost of the air
but,
conditioners.
I'm just a dumb punk in this county. I lived here about 60 years, and I just don't see my taxes. I don't pay that much on taxes, but I do pay taxes. And I don't see them go up no more than what they are.
Mr. Plant, were you in favor of buying the Lockhart property?
No,
Okay,
they ought to sell that before we buy this out here.
okay. Just asking,
Yeah, well, I mean,
because we're talking about two different
I
options
know.
tonight, the Lockhart property and the Walmart property.
they need to sell that and then maybe try to buy this, but I don't think we need to spend no money till we sell some stuff. That's all I've got to say. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Roseanne?
Yeah, okay.
My name was mentioned, could I? Regarding different uses of property, that can be changed by government. They can change the use of property, so that wouldn't be any problem as far as that building for industrial use, but I agree, you wouldn't want a smelter there. But we need more information before we proceed on this. And we need to wait till the real mayor comes back so we can have further discussion. Thank you.
Commissioner Miller, you're recognized.
The EMA director and I have looked it up. The Lockhart building itself is not in a flood zone. I mean, unless he looked it up on the, whatever, Tennessee map, you look flood zones up. Halfway between there and Country and Western on down, and maybe some of the back of it is. But the Lockhart building itself, according to that map, is not in a flood zone. Thank you.
The one comment I will make about that is the property that you're talking about that is in the flood zone, the previous plans was to spend over $1 million on those buildings that are in the flood zone.
But we have backed out of doing anything in that part of it.
No, we've not backed out. That's going to
Well,
be another
we
option.
backed out right now through the farmer's market down there. I will also say that the River Basin Authority is cleaning the ditch out behind the fairgrounds. Eventually, all of it will be drained. And I don't know how long that'll take, just to be honest with you, but it is in the making from Buck Carter's old highway department down to the concrete plant is in the makings, to my knowledge right now, to straighten that ditch up and relieve some of that flooding.
Any other commissioner? Okay. Commissioner Plant?
I wasn't hoping to have to speak in the citizens forum here, but after hearing what I'm hearing, I agree with Mr. Peach and Mrs. Summers and the ones that have spoken. As Randy's saying right now, we have not, I am a commissioner. I've been here nearly going on 8 years. I've served chairman this 2 years. And as he's saying, he's not wanting to give the cost of nothing. We've not seen nothing and expect me to come in here and make a vote tonight. You have given me no figures. We felt like we kind of been kept hostage for these 4 months. Nobody has come to this commission. Now, you 5 or 6, I think some of you met Friday, 3 of you in the mayor's office, without keeping this thing publicly to the people. Don't ask me to come here and approve something that's thrown in my face, and as he's saying right now, he's holding the figures, so we won't be able to quote and debate him on it. I'm telling you right now, that building is going to cost a lot of money to do. And the next thing I want to say, and I've got more to say when it comes to the commission meeting on the vote on it. Mr. Chairman, I neglect you for not putting the agenda like it should be. You work for the commission. You don't work for that mayor. I've asked you to remove my petition, sum it up, the front of yours in buying the Walmart. Let the people make a decision. What'd you say? And I asked the mayor, y'all would him address the issue. I said, I want my resolution 22 moved to the front of number 5 in purchasing. Why would you buy, then you hear I come with mine and it's done late, you done bought it. And you control that, and don't forget you work for the commission. If it was me, I'd ask you over that, because of what y'all have done is not right, Roseanne. You've got in bed with this bunch, and y'all have kept this secretly for 4 months, and you can smile, but I know when you smell there's an odor, there's usually smoke. And you have never, and are you saying we all knew, Miss Dana? I'm not saying a package one put in my commissioner meeting. I know nothing. I got the inspection report through another channel. You've not told the commission nothing about it. We've not walked out there and we've not viewed nothing. And you expect me to walk in here and spend possibly $6 million is what it's going to take before it's over. You stopped a job that the mayor in the past, who's serving our country, not nary one of you, but 2 times he'd been emailed how to fire the Pfeiffer boys. Y'all have not committed nothing in the future. And the money that we wasted, we've got money here. We've done paid for the property. It's paid for. And you saying it's in a flood zone, I beg you don't know. Because we had an engineer that's got more degree than we have. Before, y'all remember, before we could even purchase, it's in a flood. He spent all the time, and we paid for that. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And now you've got an inspection report, and what it says, he's noted everything, but he says, here you come back wanting us to buy it. But in that inspection report, after everything he looks at, required to submit to see a professional plumber, see a professional remover of the mildew. We ain't done that, so we don't have no idea what it's going to cost to go in this building. Been vacant 14 years. Every pipe, every sewer, everything is demolished, frozen, and burst. All your duct has got mildew in it. It ain't going to be, what's the cost of that? I don't know that. Now, and you failed to tell us, Mayor, so we can make that decision tonight. I'm asking you to pull what we're doing tonight, and you come back when you feel it's proper. Come back with this commission, the 18, not 6, not the oversight committee. If you read the oversight committee's duty, once it has been a change, a substantial change, it is to come back before the commission. Y'all went down there and killed that project.
Your time's up, Mr. Plant.
But I'll come back in my commission.
I have a couple of questions I want to ask you.
Put
When
it
you
on
were
there.
chairman, how many times did you prepare the agenda?
Every time you was out, I seen it.
You came
I
to the
proved it
mayor-
just like you did. I didn't try to nose my nose in it.
You
I
came-
put it
okay.
officially.
Now, the next
but you've
question
asked
is,
me, I would also move this thing to the very first 2 come out, so you don't hold these people from the jobs and whatnot, let them get
Okay,
it
I've
over
got
with.
questions, please. Do you think just because you want your resolution moved to the front of the agenda that you're supposed to get special treatment? What if somebody else comes and says, I want my resolution moved up to the front?
I'm glad you asked that, Miss Roseanne. Speak to the commission what the resolution reads. Ask them how they think it'll be on. Why would you put one after you done bought it? And why did you put it on the end? What says yours is ahead of
Why would you put that one
mine?
in the front? If the
you
resolution
do
doesn't
it?
pass to purchase Walmart, then we'll move on to the
But then it
referendum.
says we're gonna have to go to the
I
people.
mean, that's
Then it's too late.
pretty much common sense. Now, the next thing I want to
You
ask
read
you
that thing,
is,
Miss
you were
Chairman.
talking about you didn't know anything that was going on. Well, let me tell you what I did one time. I had a question about some business that the industrial board was taking care of, that was doing, that I didn't know about. So I called the industrial board. I talked to Tony Brewer, who's the chairman, and I asked him about the things that I heard that the county was purchasing land. You know what he told me? Very nice, very respectful. He said, Roseanne, because he knows me, he said, if you want to know what's going on at the industrial board meetings, come to the meetings.
We would have loved to, but you never list your committees when,
Okay.
you bring them up here and show me where you put it in the paper. It never
After
was
every
submitted.
county
It was in
commission
the
meeting,
sunshine.
we invited everybody that was
Where-
here
how
to
did
come
you
to
do
the
that?
meeting for the
There-
next.
I've asked Miss
Mr. Ward, I
Ashley-
didn't interrupt you, so will you please
Well, I'm
be
just
quiet and let
telling
me
you,
talk?
you're telling a lie.
Will you
It
please?
never has been submitted to
Okay,
nobody.
you can go and have a seat,
Oh, you just
please.
settle down. I'll get my seat,
No,
but you
you're
ain't gonna
very
just tell me what to
disrespectful.
do.
I didn't interrupt you, and you don't
Well,
interrupt me, okay?
Chairwoman, you're the chairwoman, you should recuse yourself, let someone, if you want to do your personal opinions, okay?
No, he's not supposed to
I'm
interrupt.
trying to be nice, and I've not raised my voice, Roseanne, but
Mr.
you have
Mr. Plant, I've got
forgot.
another question for you.
You have forgot the
And this is a
commission.
yes or no.
You're not working for the
Did you
18.
vote to buy the $3 million Walmart, the
And you
Lockhart
did
building?
too. And you did too.
Did you, okay. but
I
you-
did, yes, ma'am.
You were for spending $3 million down at the Lockhart property, that part of those buildings are in a flood zone,
No,
and they're all
the
mobile.
building- the
So
only
you're in
buildings-
favor of that, but you're not in favor of this.
Now, listen, you
Now, let
adding
me
that
ask you
to the
another
flood
question.
zone.
Who
You adding
owned-
the flood zone. Let's
who
get
owned
real
the
about
Lockhart
it.
building?
Pull out your flood zone, look at it, show them what you're talking about.
Who owned the Lockhart building that we purchased? What was his name?
What's that?
Who was the man that owned the Lockhart building that we purchased?
Mr. Cook?
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Cook, was he not the same man that you were promoting up here several times to
He
do work
done
for
one
the
heck of a
county
job,
business?
did he not? Did he not fix that library down? Have you been
No,
called
we
back
had
on any
several
roof
problems.
work?
That's beside the
No,
point.
you- no,
But
it
he
ain't
wa-
beside the
he
point. You
wasn't
trying to cut
hired-
his work.
But you promoted him also to do work to the roof up here, and we found out he didn't
He
even have a
should've.
contractor's
No,
license.
you said that.
So in other words, you and Mr. Ashley Cook have been friends for a long time, is that right?
I've known him probably, I've
Okay,
met
that's
Mr.
all.
Cook probably 5 times in my life.
And another thing is, I don't fire anybody. You said something about I was in cahoots with trying to fire the Pfeiffer boys. I know
I
nothing
didn't say
about
that.
that.
I said you've been
I don't have it.
cahoots with this whole thing that you've not
Who are
come
you
to
in
your
cahoots with?
commission. We
Okay,
can argue all the
that's
time. The
enough.
thing is, you're in deep
Mr.
with this
Plant,
buying of this.
that's enough,
All
okay?
right.
We've had enough. Mr. King, you're recognized.
I got a couple statements on this. Number one, using the term "in bed with the bunch" is not very professional. Number two, on the inspection, it talks about an asphalt roof that I'm not sure there's one out there. Number two is it says the basement has cracks. Does it have a basement? No. So that inspection report has 2 things in it that not there. Okay? I'm done.
Any other commissioner? Okay. Mr. Arnold, did you want to respond?
Well, on inspection reports, some of those reports are, got certain, it may be when is it basement or is it foundation or footers, a lot of those reports have, boxes that they check as they go through it, No, it does not have a basement out there.
But it does have 2 floors.
It has 2 floors. There is a second back part of it that has some offices and stuff above it, some more bathrooms upstairs. What you got to really, you're getting a clean slate. And you say, the building's got some mold, it's got some, stuff to be done to it. The building's been sitting there empty, The building's going to have some stuff done to it. If it was all in A1 shape, you'd be paying a lot more money for it. But this is a clean slate. Just like if you go out here and you buy a house that you want to remodel, you're going to go in there and change the walls, you're going to change the layouts, you're going to move the bathrooms, you're going to add some closets. I haven't been into many houses that an inspection report don't come back with something because they're going to have something. That building has got issues that, like that. It needs to be changed out. You're going to clear it out. You're going to turn around and rearrange it based on what you put in there. The bathrooms ain't going to stay in the same places. Yes, you can move them. No, all the water lines is not busted, I'm sure. They've got the electricity still on it, but $12 a square foot. I mean, y'all have already spent money. Yes, Ward, I've known Ward all my life. I consider the plants like my family. We may not always agree, but we've been friends all my life. Ward right here is the official flood map. I printed it off of my computer. The building's back there on the back side. It's in the flood zone. And for most anybody that's ever bought a house down around the river that touches the flood zone, if your property touches the flood zone, your mortgage company is going to require you to have flood insurance. It don't matter if the house is in it or not, it's the fact that your property is touching the flood zone or a portion of it in the flood zone, you're going to end up having to buy flood insurance. And I don't know how many of you ever priced flood insurance, but you're probably looking at an unastronomical amount to go down here at the old Lockhart building.
$35,000.
$35,000
Building.
per building. Okay, so now let's think about
Insurance company.
what's the number one thing that you look at when you buy real estate? Location, location, location. This ain't a real estate class I'm trying to give anybody, but think about it. You're going to turn around and spend $3 million down here that's next to in a flood zone. Got an old gas station beside it. You just can't control what's going there. You got a burnt-out restaurant. You got some old hotel buildings over there. You're on the wrong side of town. If you build something, would you not like to have it on 641, and have it out there for your banks, your hotels, your restaurants, when you have an event, people comes to Benton County and says, boy, they got something to be proud of. Drive up to the Parsons and look what they've got. Mr. Peaches knows all about real estate. He's a very intelligent man. He moved his business out on 641. He's got a nice building out there.
Building across from the 22 acres I'm fixing to develop.
Well, so he's got a building out there on 641. He knew the best place to go is on 641. That's what the Walmart building is giving you an opportunity to do. Something that you're buying. Let me give you a couple of quick numbers here. I'm running. If I find my last piece of paper here, I've done a few. I don't know which pocket I put it in. You get time off for trying to dig in your pockets. Okay. Here it is. Let's talk about there's 6 acres that sold out on 641. It's not all of it even buildable. About $250,000 this last year. Another business out on 641. This is 641. $1,300,000. Where the Taco Bell building closed in February of last year. $1.4 million. When you sit there and figure up Casey's, where Casey's is set is about an acre of ground. They paid almost $400,000 for just a naked lot. You're getting 7 acres asphalted with a 60,000 square foot building sitting on it. I mean, it's a clean slate. You walk in there on Monday morning, y'all decide what you're going to put in, and you go in there and you divide it up and you lay it out the way you need it. But you know what? You can't make plans on something you don't own. That's like going out here and just building, going out here to Lowe's and buying your building package or Mark's Building Supply. Don't let me leave out my local stuff. Buying a building package, say, I'm going to build on this lot over here. But you don't own that lot. Yet you get all your stuff and you ain't got nowhere to put it. If you've got the building, you can go out here and develop it as you need to. You can go out here and put in the senior citizen center, your veteran center, whatever the county decides to put in there. You've got a location that is second to none. And it ain't going to flood, folks. If it does, it's getting off when it comes by. Now, cake's done.
I have one question.
Yes, sir.
If this transaction goes through, are you going to be paid commission on 1.7 million?
No, sir, I will not. I will not be paid commission on the tax credit.
What price you be paid commission?
That's between me and the seller.
Well, I think you should disclose that.
Well, I ain't going to ask you what you get paid on your stuff, and you go out
I
there.
don't care about my taxes.
Yeah,
I'll tell you.
I ain't worried about that. But my commission is not based on any of it, so if that tells you anything, it means my commission is not based on it.
Question, would you consider your statements being somewhat biased because of the amount of money from received?
I pay over $30-something thousand in property taxes, and I told the commissioners that even if I wasn't paid on this, I would be in favor of it. I've got 3 kids that lives in Benton County that they want, I got 2 that lives in Benton County now. I've got 5 grandkids. I want them to be able to come to Benton County, stay in Benton County. My daughter works hard to promote the Fort Square, as you know. We take it serious. I've been doing this. In order to build our tax base, how do you expand your tax base in a county? You do it by getting industry, or you do it by getting people to move here and developing property and spreading out your tax base.
We're going to pay $25,000 in tax rolls right now for that building.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
We're paying about $25,000 in city and county taxes on that building right now.
No.
We get 0 taxes.
Mr. Peach and Mr. Arnold, we've got somebody else that needs to speak, okay? Y'all can argue that out in the lobby if you would like to later. I think the audience is wanting to hear from Mayor Shannon.
Thank you. To look at what we have, what we were going into, we're going to start with those figures. To build out the Lockhart building, it cost approximately $92,000 to buy that building. The entire complex of land in that area was $300,212. So that's something you have to keep in mind, that was bought. But $92,000 around that was specifically for the building. There's going to be, to fix that building up, which was built in the 40s and certainly hasn't had anybody in it for a good long while either, is $1,600,000 and change. To do the other things that are necessary for us to be doing, which includes finishing out the EMA building outside of the cost of the grant that we have, to do a senior citizen center, which is something that the Oversight Committee was looking to do, to pay for our portion of some sidewalks that the city of Camden got, that was $361,000, our portion, to continue to pay for some architectural fees that may be coming in at about $50,000, and there could be the awarding of a contract for sidewalks and Holiday that we've yet to hear on, but if it does come through, it's $1 million grant in which we have to pay $50,000. Now, I don't expect you to keep up with all those numbers, but when you add all of that up with the cost of the land in that area, it comes to $3 million and change. If you take out the cost of the land and look at just what has to be done, building at the Lockhart Ford building and the EMA building, the senior citizens, the sidewalks, the architect, if you just look at all of that and just those numbers alone, you're looking at $2,735,000, 445. I said it wrong, but 2.7 million and change. If you were to add in the amount of money that would be our portion of the grants for the farmers market and the multi-purpose buildings, which were paused until 2024, you would have a total cost, without counting the land now, a total cost of $3.5 million. With the land, it's $3.8 million.
But that's including sidewalk costs and Holiday.
That's including up to $50,000 for a sidewalk cost, but that's part of what you have to look at, that you have to keep going. So that gives you some indebtedness that has to be taken care of. I'm just saying that if you're looking at the total cost, you were already spending millions of dollars. Some people said we don't want to spend millions of dollars. The good people in this room and who were on the commission decided to borrow $2 million. You have an obligation to the citizens to go forward with why you borrowed the money. It's debatable as to whether we should have borrowed the money. It's already been done. And Ms. Baldwin, that's the referendum you were speaking of. That money's been borrowed, and now we need to do with it what we have said we were going to do, and that's to work on these projects. And we have a pretty good rating, a bond rating for our the issuance of that, and so I think the county is very comfortable in being able to pay that back. Looking at then just apples to apples, where you're comparing the things that would where you'd have an ag extension building, you could do the senior citizen center, you could have an outdoor farmer's market, you could have a small business room that would be for entrepreneurial, that's going to be paid for with a grant. And some other things that are done, including a TCAT classroom, which you could have two of them, and one of them would allow you to move the LPN classes, which are currently at the old health department building, to the Walmart building, which would be part of the process of evacuating that building so it could be sold. If you were to look at all of those things and talking to an architectural firm, they said that when they gave us the number between $65 and $100 per square foot, and you do not have to build out the entire building. So when you hear people who will tell you very quickly at $100 a square foot, it's a $6 million project, that is false information, just simply designed to make you not want to do the project. But you would not have to put out that entire amount of money at that one time. And anyway, but that money, the $65 to $100 a square foot, is for everything that's there. That includes the replacement of the roof, that includes the replacement of the air conditioning, that includes all of the necessary cosmetic work and all of the structural work that have to be done on some doors and things of that nature, plumbing that would be going in, as well as fixing up the parking lot. So it's from a cost savings perspective, I was astonished at the value that they could give on this. Now, we haven't entered into a contract with them for this because that would cost money. And if we, as Mr. Arnold said, if you hadn't bought it, then, we did do some due diligence in getting it inspected and various things, but that's what you should do when you're looking at a project. You should have good inspections and move forward with it. That being said, at $100 a square foot, which is the top end of what the architectural firm talked to me about, doing all of that with the cost of the building at $750,000, which again is around $12 a square foot, you're looking at $3.6 million for the build out. So now just to remind you that we had 2.7 without the farmer's market and the multi-purpose building, putting in something like the farmer's market and something like the multi-purpose building. It wouldn't be as big, but would still stand for the same type of purpose. You have $3.6 million. Remember, if you were to put those two larger structures in, and those two structures are somewhat in the flood zone, one more than the other, but you're still looking at 3.5. So for a little over $100,000 more, you have everything that you were trying to do at the South Forest location, the Chapman Ford location, and more. You have the opportunity to get grants and to move forward and have other things. And so when you do all of the various things that are done, and Ms. Summers, I've spoken to our community development partners who are in the business of federal money, and they have assured me 100% that the money can be used for the purchase of this building. So that being said, using the ARP funds for this at various amounts, you still have more than sufficient money to take care of all of the needs that you wanted. You get everything that was at the Chapman Ford location, plus more. Now, one of the things that's often stated is, why do you not have Rural King come in, or why do you not have Tractor Supply come in? I'm sure many of you have heard that. In fact, we would love to have Rural King come in, and we would love to have Tractor Supply come in. This is an email from the Blake Pierce, who is the Director of Real Estate for Rural King. He says that our building is not big enough for him. He needs a 90,000 square foot facility, and there's not enough population in Benton County, so they are not interested in coming. So Rural King is out. Here is the proof. As I sat down today in this chair, I got the final confirmation from Tractor Supply, and I can print it out too. Obviously I didn't go down to my office, print it out then. But Tractor Supply has turned down the building outright. If they had wanted it, as I said, we would have backed out of this and sold it to them, let them have it, and with our blessing. I also offered them a portion of the property so that they could rent. The counties can enter into rental agreements, and I offered them a portion of it and said that we'd be happy to rent it to you if you don't want the full facility. They confirmed today at around 4 p.m. that they did not want to have any part or parcel in Benton County with Tractor Supply. So I didn't go back with the next one. Well, we'll give it to you rent free. I didn't do that next one, but that's not what you wanted anyway. Now, in the Walmart building, you have something that you weren't getting before, and that is a Civic Center. The size of the Civic Center is to be debated for what you think it's worth. I had looked at 750 capacity. You can look at larger. I don't think you should go smaller, but that's a point to be debated and decided upon. That gives you the opportunity to bring in tourism dollars that you don't have here now. I tell the story often to when the flood happened in Waverly, we were confronted with something very real. One, we don't have a good place for our citizens to go in the event of an emergency. This would give you an opportunity to have a staging area, a place where people could come if they needed shelter. We've got wonderful community help through our churches and whatnot, but government does have responsibilities to its citizens. This would allow for that to be used for that purpose. But one of the other things that came out of the Waverly flood is there was a gospel fest that was conducted at Loretta Lynn's Dude Ranch. It's approximately 650 people. They come for roughly 4 full days to listen to gospel music. We had an opportunity to have that come here. If we had a place for 650 people to come, we had an opportunity for them to come here. Some of them would have stayed in hotels. Obviously, we probably wouldn't have enough hotel space for all of that, but they could go other places and whatnot. But I worked diligently. I called everybody I could think of and a few of their brothers to see if we had a place for them to go. And we didn't. This would give you that opportunity. I've also been told by the Tennessee River Resort District Board, the TRRD board, that had we had a place that could have fed 350 or so people, or a little bit more, we could have had a nationally televised crappie tournament here. I do know for a fact, because I have spoken to the Crappie USA people, that they absolutely love Benton County and that they would love to do things here. Now, I don't know what type of contracts they have if we were to get this done and the time it takes to build it out, but I feel confident that they would want to come to this county that they already love and to conduct their tournaments. So that gives you more tourism dollars that could come. So it is a wonderful opportunity. And again, as I have said to many people, if people don't want it, that's okay. If people do want it, that's great too. But what has to happen, because I believe you borrowed the money, is that we've got to move forward with some projects. And so if you don't want the Walmart building, and that's fine, we will have to move forward with the Chapman Ford building because there's nothing else for it. And when you want to talk about the referendum, and I'm not going to invoke any names to have people think they need to get up and talk if you do, the referendum will simply not work because it will not be available in August. This deal goes away. We had a thing in the paper in November. We have talked about it in the commission meetings. We have had multiple things. It was the front page banner headlines of the paper. And anybody that wanted to come to my office and talk about it, I was happy to have them. I would have come to you and talked about it if that's what you'd wanted me to do. So there's nothing been done in the darkness. There's nothing been done in secrecy. All of this has been above board. It's just now that it comes to the vote, and then you hear a lot of false information that's been put out. For instance, the only county offices that might go out there might be for the commission to have a meeting room so that we don't have to tear this place up and down every time we want to have a meeting. But if the commission doesn't want to do that for themselves, that's fine, but that's it. That's the only office in the courthouse that would possibly go. There's no offices. The mayor's office certainly isn't going to go. None of the other elected officers are going to go out there to those facilities. This is for the community. There are other things that could go in there. I could talk about what different things that could happen, but that's comparing apples to apples as best I possibly can so that you see what we have to do and deal with versus what you have the opportunity to expand upon and do later. And so with that, I'll happily take any questions that you may have and try to answer them to the best of my ability. And if you stick around for the commission meeting, there will be a PowerPoint for the commissioners so they can see more of this as well. Ms. Summers?
I understood from one of the previous articles in the paper that the Ag Center project associated with that project was some state grants that while they had not been specifically approved were in the works, and if they had been applied for, would have been approved and would have been available for that project. So it was never really very clear why we didn't apply for those grants. And also, it is my understanding that if we had that money approved and applied to that project, that the cost of that project would have gone, the cost of that project to the county would have gone down drastically. And I assume that that's the property that you were talking about. If not, I'm mistaken, and obviously not as well informed as I should be, but I'm assuming that if we're comparing the Ag Center project, I assume that's what we were comparing.
Yes, that is what we're comparing, and there is a $150,000 grant that comes from the UT Ag Center that could be used for both places. So that's a wash both ways. As far as other grants, there has been no other grants that has been approved, applied for.
No other grants applied for, but it was presented in the article that had they been applied for, they would have been approved and available for the project.
I don't have that article in front of me that you're referring to. I think the grants that might have been referred to had to do with the farmers market and the multipurpose building, because I have never heard from anybody, including Ms. Heather Deckard-Smith, about any other grants that she could get for her project. And I think she is one of the most dedicated county employees that I have ever met in my life, and she has no knowledge of anything. She never mentioned it to us at all, and I think she would have. So I think that was just a conflation of those two grants, ma'am. And I mean, I could be corrected certainly, but I think that's what's happened here. Mr. Nunnery?
I'm not sure where I heard this, but I heard that there's a possibility that if we did the Walmart building, we may save the nursing program. Can you expound on that?
The TCAT Paris and its current president is a friend of mine. I serve on the advisory board to TCAT Paris, and they have an LPN class here, a source of higher education. In fact, probably the only true source of higher education that we have in Benton County. And they were going to pull the project and move those classes to Huntington. And I begged my friend to not do that and let us have an opportunity to see if this building could come to pass where we could move it. And he said that he would absolutely give us a chance to do that. And we could also expand, and if we did more than one classroom, that he was, assuming we could find the appropriate instructor, certainly willing to start another class here. And one of the things that he suggested, given his demographics and the numbers that he's seeing generated in his pool, would be a cosmetology program. But the fact is that if you have those facilities for TCAT, they could be used for TCAT, and if they don't need them, then they could be used for other higher education purposes, so that we would have a place for training and whatnot for workplace development.
Thank you.
And that also allows us then, by doing that, to evacuate the building that is the old health department and to sell it without any loss, any real loss. Mr. Plant?
Randy, the grant that she's talking about is the $1 million or the $900,000 grant from the LG Park Recreation.
Yes, and those apply to the.
He said he's retired, but he called me New Year's night and said, "Ward, I'll be there in the morning. I ain't late."
Okay.
Paris, and he's one that he met with Roseanne. He met with every one of them in a room here about twice.
Yeah.
And that grant, what I understood, all you had to do was sign one form there, and we'd be enrolled for that one form. Right at $1 million for the park, that building. That's the grant she's referring to that you didn't apply for.
And that grant has nothing to do with the Ag Extension Building.
Well, it had it to do with all the building parts down there, sir.
But it still has nothing to do with the Ag Extension Building.
What do you think Brenda applied for, sir? If it didn't have to do, I didn't say the Ag building, I'm talking about the other.
Ms. Hill?
Some of the offices that you plan to move into this Walmart building are now in buildings that, if I understand correctly, are really old and dilapidated. So are we going to be able to clear not just the old health department building out, but some of these older, like the senior center, the ag center? Will we be able to get rid of those properties after we move the offices out?
Absolutely, and I would hope that we do. Let's have a nice sale of all the surplus property that we have and focus on what needs to be done. And that's whether or not that you move forward with the Walmart building or you go with a different area. We should divest ourselves of as much property that the county owns that is not serving true county purpose. Mr. Peach?
like to clarify something. From your testimony or your statements, are you saying that Mayor Lashley made a tremendous mistake and all the commissioners that voted to buy the Lockhart building? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I don't know about tremendous mistake and offering of testimony. I didn't realize I was under oath, but I guess I'm sitting in the witness seat. So I'm saying that just as you have a difference of opinion regarding the Walmart building, I personally have a difference of opinion regarding the purchasing of the Chapman Ford building.
Okay, I'm just curious how many commissioners in here that voted to buy the Lockhart building? Am I identifying yourself?
I did, sir.
Okay. Okay. I'd like y'all to be very, very introspective about proceeding. I don't know why there's any big rush. Let's let the duly elected mayor come back, and then we'll deal with this. Put it on the ballot like somebody recommended. You won't have any problem. Put it up. If people want it, so be it.
I'd like to clarify something real quick. Mr. Plant mentioned my name in applying for grants. I want everybody to know that I do not apply for grants, and I had not anything to do with the grant he's talking about.
We approved the grant, what I'm saying, the commission approved it.
Debbie Baldwin.
I wasn't gonna say anything tonight, but I'm on this oversight committee because I'm on the city council. And I have been a part of it since the first meeting, second meeting maybe. I was appointed by my mayor. I just want everybody to know that these commissioners, and I don't brag on them often now, because I'm like y'all, I'm always looking for ways we can improve stuff. Y'all all, you get phone calls. Okay, this oversight committee has done an excellent job of thinking of every detail that they could possibly think of, to look into, to check on, to call on. Heather Deckard-Smith has been excellent. She has COVID, so she couldn't be here tonight, and I know it's killing her because she has had such a stake in this from the beginning. We all have taken this very personal to make our city, our county a better place, a place where people can come from outside the area here to enjoy things. Move here from other areas to retire and have something to do. The Senior Citizen Center, it's not been voted on to do something for them. This building would take care of that. The Ag Center, Heather's, the whole 4-H, all that, they're increasing in the ones they have coming into their office, which will increase activities in the county for our kids, for women, for men, for everybody. They take a huge part of it. This also would, the Civic Center has been the one thing I have heard more people say over the past years, not just since this has started in the past 2 years. But the Civic Center has been something that everybody has wanted. It's a place for gospel singing. It's a place to bring groups in for country music. Look at Huntington, how many people they have coming over there. That our people here go every time somebody's there, every time. And I know a lot of you probably do like music. You like plays. We had a group that was renting the Bank of Camden building a few years back, and they were doing plays to raise money. If we had the Civic Center, look at how many people you could bring in, and that group would get started again. I mean, this is a win-win, especially since the price has went from $1.8 million down to $750,000 for the actual building itself. Now, I know all of you have probably heard that the price has gone up on everything. The building, the wood, goes up tremendously with all the flood. But you can't build a building for $12.50 a square foot. That's concrete floor, concrete walls, and it's got a roof on it. You just can't do it. I mean, if this was still $1.8 million, I might not be as on board with it either. But this committee has done an excellent job to research every part.
Just should have had to put it on the, put it for vote.
Well, it's been advertised, and we've had people visiting every meeting, people out in the community.
Let the people vote on
We
it.
have had the people come in and ask questions when we had meetings. You know, it's been open. It's been open. A lot of the commissioners that were on the committee have been in there for the meetings.
Let the people vote on it.
May I speak, ma'am?
Yes, you may. Well, let's see, Debbie has a minute and 15 seconds.
And did you have a question?
Yeah, wasn't you in the meeting there when we talked to Laura Lee and Maddie about that grant that was
Yes.
talking about? And that grant is for, that grant money was specifically for the vendor center and the farmer's market.
It was
That
for the
could've been
farmer's
used.
market is what it was gonna be
You
used
can't
for.
use grant money for something else, something specific. You've got rules you gotta go by. And that has been put off to 2024.
Right.
We do have a parks and recreational plan for 10 years. We paid 25,000, maybe, I don't know how much money we paid. And actually in that meeting, when you became interim mayor, you was like, the whole time you thought the ag extension, because you said, you mean this ag extension ain't part of this? You know, there's lots of grant problems there that you can't use that money for the ag extension. The only thing we got ag extension wise, for
It's
stuff just like you said,
$150,000.
is the $150,000 that UT said.
Right, and that was specifically for the,
Right, so-
for the farmer's market,
And I went around
which
collecting-
a lot of people have really not been up on the farmer's market. They
Right.
think a private citizen should do it.
Right.
So what we're saying with Walmart is, you've got the garden center out there.
It's
You
gonna
could,
be-
you could have a garden center virtually for nothing.
Yeah, and
No
like I
extra,
said,
because
we
it's
talked
there.
about- We talked about the $6.5 million. Yes, I went around and collected signatures for that. We got it busted down to $2 million. We ended up voting on it. I didn't vote for it, but we got $2 million we got to spend to do something with it. So now we're paying interest on it. A building for $750,000 is a good deal. I'm still on the fence. I've got barbed wire scratching me in the middle about the way what's going on here. But what option do we got? Do you want to build down here, just like he talks about? I don't think he's lying about the $35,000 about your property touching a flood zone. I mean, it's a great location. I wish you wouldn't use the old car term. I'd rather use steel piled up on the side. But, I mean, you know, and maybe the referendum putting on there, but who knows? We've learned that maybe someone else may be interested in that building that they ain't gonna pay taxes, and it'd be great if, say, if a church or something got it, but it's in a great location. I mean, I'm here listening to you because I've talked to everybody. There's a lot in here I see that I've asked, and I've asked people from different ways of life, of what they want and what they'd like to see from it. I'm talking to people that pay $3,000, $2,000, $500 to $30,000 in taxes, small business owners. But, I mean, in a sense, I think it's a good idea. I mean, we can't go wrong on it. I mean, down here, we're gonna spend a lot of money on something. You can combine everybody in, sell all them buildings these people are in, and be done with it. And let that revenue, when we sell those buildings, start taxpaying dollars again. How much do we receive in taxes on the old Walmart building? What is the real number, county taxes, not city?
The last number that I recall checking was $19,000.
$19,000.
That don't include the city portion. Almost 25,000.
Right, that's what the
that's
city's
county
part.
portion.
City gets a chunk. So, you lose
Why are we afraid to
19.
put it on the ballot? The people, there's some real money afraid to put it on the
When your
ballot.
neighbor says she wants to sell or he wants to sell some property to you, look, you want it, it's a deal, take it or not, ground. That's why we've had that. I've said your talks about not hearing nothing about it, but I've heard about that for the last 4 or 5 months sitting here during a commission meeting. I wish there was some way. I wish there
Our
was
time
some
is
way.
up right now for the, that's okay, for the public hearing. It was announced to be 5:45. Our time's up. Is there anybody in the audience that didn't get to say anything that would like to say anything? Okay, if not, then we're going to take a break, and our regular monthly county commission meeting will start at 6 o'clock.